And we're live. Thanks ever so much, everyone, for joining the 7th episode of our live stream series. And today we're joined by a very special guest, Chris. Give everyone a wave, Chris. Fantastic. And obviously, Dr. Pille is here as well. Give everyone a wave, Dr. Oh, very nice. I'm going to hand over to Dr. Pille today. I'll be in the chat, guys, so if you want to catch up there, ask any questions, I'll be monitoring that. But it's over to the doctor.
Thank you, Ross, for the introduction. And sorry, people, we're a little bit late, but that's my fault because I talk too much, but you probably know that already. So today we are very lucky to welcome Chris to the channel. And let's start with that. Chris, can you say a few words about yourself, what you do, and the products you build? Please go.
Hi, I'm Chris, and I'm the founder of JPTR FX, a small company from Germany, Wilhelmshaven on the north coast. And we do pedals with a lot of volume and distortion. We make very loud things, and we are the headroom of annihilation. And we build loud amps and heavy pedals.
Yeah. How many
for the last
people
10 years.
Oh, 10 years. Awesome. How many people are in the company right now?
Me and 4 employees.
Oh, not bad. So you are, it's still very much boutique, and there is a strong image behind the brand and a very specific type of products you make. And we will talk about that. But it's still not a one-man band. And
No, it's a middle. We are not big, but already not small anymore.
Yeah, that's good. What should you tell about, I mean, the philosophy behind the products you make? Because, like I just said, you make very specific products, and we will talk about a specific project we work together on. But what do you think is the driving force behind the design of your product? What are you trying to give the world?
First of all, I just do whatever I think is the best in a product, sound-wise. And this is the unique style I can offer as a person. And I recognize that people like this as a product, in most cases. And I would say that I'm a distortion connoisseur.
Mm-hmm.
And with some products, I think it's my kind of how a distortion or fuzz pedal should sound like, and people trust me in that opinion because I'm expert in that level. Yeah, and I'm known for that.
And what type of products do you have right now in the catalog?
We have an 250 watt amp that is doing a lot of pushing air, and we have overdrive pedals, the deluxe jive, our most selling one with the Warlow, our big muff variant, and the Bleach, the Seattle guitar destroyer. It's a chorus and a distortion, of course. We have a high gain reverb pedal, and delay, 2 delays in one.
I didn't know the high gain reverb. That's an interesting concept. Sadly, we won't talk about this one today, but I want to know more about what is a high gain reverb. That's interesting. So let's say you are more on the heavy side of music, and most of your customers, I believe, don't play country music with clean tones, right?
No, there are other brands that can do that very well, and maybe some if you need some different color for your paintings, you can't paint always with blue colors. Sometimes you need a black shade, a gray shade, or whatever. And I'm offering exactly that.
Excellent. So, of course, anybody can go on your website, socials, and take a look. I actually like very much your Instagram page. I don't use Instagram much, but I like your pictures and stuff. Everything is very nicely presented. And I had the chance to play some of your stuff last year at Guitar Summit and here at the office. So why are we talking today, Chris? Can you tell us a bit more about what's coming up with Two Notes and JPTR FX?
Yeah, I'm the one telling. Okay.
Yes.
We have a strong bond for many years because I like the Captor X as a recording and working tool every day for all my social feeds. And I message you about our cooperation. And yeah, we are joining the Genome software with our products.
Excellent. So, for the past few months, Chris, myself, and mainly the Two Notes team have been working on a set of components for Genome, and we all trying together to create the best representation of Chris and the JPTR FX team, the best sound we could get out of a plugin to stick to the reality of those very specific effects. So I will ask Ross to share my Genome screen. Yes. So we actually have three components, if I'm correct. We have the Warlow pedal, we have the Titan amp, which first time I tried that amp, I was actually very impressed. It's something different. It's really something that I will have in my collection at some point. It's really something different, and I did check that I get the same experience from the plugin. And we have a cabinet, a JPTR FX cabinet, which is a 6x12 because when four is not enough, you need six. So what about we start with the pedal? Can you explain what the Warlow is?
Warlow is a blend between a Rat and a Big Muff. The Op amp Big Muff, to be particular. And this is the distortion I like the most, but sometimes the clipping stage or the filter stage needs to be a bit different. That's why we design pedals. And I combined that with a Rat and some other secrets I won't tell you now. But
of course,
you you have here the digital version of it. And the Warlow is known for sounding different or very dynamic, different on 18 volts and 9 volts. And I asked your team to do a switch because we have in an analog universe,
Okay, so you're talking about the switch I'm moving right now. So
yeah, I
what
lost
does
the
it mean?
words. I'm sorry.
There are three positions on it.
Yeah. It's a filter switch, right? The top one is the classic muff filter. It's a mid.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I was okay. So there's 9
Yeah, yeah.
or 18 at the top.
Yeah,
I missed
yeah.
it. And then there is the secret one, which I have no idea what it does.
Yeah, yeah. The top one is the Big Muff filter. The bottom switch, the top position. Yeah.
This
Yes.
one.
Yeah. We stay at this switch.
Okay.
Top position is Big Muff, and down position is the Rat filter. It's a high cut. And in the middle, we have both canceling each other out.
Oh wow! So does it have
That's
an
cool.
influence on that filter knob?
Yeah, a lot.
Okay.
A Big Muff filter is like sweeping through the mids. Bottom Rat is like canceling the fizz, the Bs, and with both they're working in parallel and fighting against each other. It's a very interesting sound. And the switch on the top, where I lost my words, is for toggling between 9 and 18 volts. That is what players do in the analog world with their power supplies. And it sounds different on 18 volts, less gain, more headroom. And on 9 volts is less headroom, but more compression. This is more gain.
I guess that's what people expect from that. So on the real pedal, on the real pedal, you don't put any marking on that switch, right?
No.
But I think
people experiment in the early days. We didn't even name the volume switches, so a big step for us.
No, and it's funny, and I see questions in the chat. So I will not demonstrate those components today, guys. I just want to show you the interface. I forgot to mention we will release that as a free update for Genome users, whether you have Suite or you have the Genome base version. And I hope I'm not saying something stupid. And you will get to try for yourself and find the right settings. I actually can't play guitar. I broke a finger a few weeks ago. So it's free for everyone. So you can't break anything. That's a good thing with Genome. So just try. And of course, we will provide some presets. We have some friends who design preset. Igor, the product manager for Genome, designed some presets, and I'm pretty sure you'll have a lot of fun with that, with those new components. So feel free to try stuff, but we're not just doing sound. We will have also videos and stuff when we are actually releasing. The release should happen around within 1 week to a couple of weeks, because we want it perfect. So we need a bit more time. Now we could move to the Titan.
Yes.
Okay, so that's
my favorite topic.
That's the 250 watts amp, right?
Yeah, the big boy.
The big boy. I had it here. It looks amazing in person. I think the picture gives us an idea, but it's a massive amp.
Yeah, it's heavy, it's loud, ugly, and it has a lot of power. 250 watts run by 4 KT88s, and they are fed with 700 volts. So that's a lot of power, a lot of pushing air.
That's absolutely awesome. And so on that amp, because there are a few options, we can take a look at them. Because I tried it, of course, and it took me a minute to figure out some stuff. So we have 2 channels.
Yeah.
How would you define those 2 channels? And we see we have other options. So on channel 1, there's a boost and EQ. And on channel 2, there's, do we have the boost? Yes, we do have the boost as well. And since it's digital, both channels are totally independent. So you can have I guess, let me check. I actually don't remember if we have a different EQ. Yes, we do. So there's one EQ for channel 1, another EQ for channel 2, which requires more knob when you do that with analog. And you have a boost per channel plus some options. So let's look at channel 1. So what can I do with channel 1?
Everything you can do on your classic, can I say brand names? You know the classics, the 70 tube amps, and adding that in the 80s with more gain stages, you have channel 2, and even and with the boost you have like 1 tube more, so it's basically 90s amp design with like more Sordano.
You can say brands. I mean, nobody's watching really, so I mean, nobody will go after us. And if we mention Marshall, Fender, whatever, they will probably like it. We know those guys. That's okay.
Okay.
So you told me
just want to be safe. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So you told me there was one that was more JCM at 100 modded version with the channel 2, I guess.
Yeah. The first channel is plexi basement style. And with low cut and high cuts on each channel, that is very important. Second channel is more JCM 800, also with boost features.
Yeah.
And then with the boost additional tube added, you have the Sordano tones, 5150 tones, everything in that category. So after that, 250 watts. So very insane.
Yes. No, but I mean, nobody needs them, but people may want them anyway. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like driving old cars or whatever. You don't need them, but it's cool to have it.
And especially if you're like, because the channel 1 can be super clean, and if you need to have a loud and super clean tone, of course in the plugin you don't need watts, right? But that headroom you want when you want to play loud and clean, you need a very powerful amp. There is no secret. So and you get that tone with this one, and you can still go, because I have a basement here somewhere and some old school Marshall, and you need to, like, there is no gain knob on them, So if you want to have a little bit of crunch tone, you need to bridge the channels, push everything, including the tone stack sometimes. While in your case, I did note that if you push the gain on the channel 1, you get to crunch, right?
No, that's the bass cut. Disengage bass cut or not. And we added, of course, a gain knob. If you want a non-master, just put the master volume on 10 and do the volume with the gain. And then you get,
Okay.
results.
Well, I mean, that's the thing with plugins. Since you can actually push the input, you can make clip pretty much anything you want. But I was able to manage a lot of tones from like classic 90s chorusy, let's say grunge type of tones, or like fully fuzzy, like pushing everything, especially on channel 2 when you activate the fat and you push the gain, you push the volume, you get that there's a point in the volume where it gets very fuzzy, not as extreme as a fuzz, but like the low end just saturating heavily the power section of the amp. And it was extremely fun to play. Actually, on my preset, again, you won't hear it, but on my preset, I played with the Octaver. I had the Warlow, but I played with the knobs, but I had just a tiny bit of it. But just the Octaver, the Titan on channel 2 pushed, and I think I had the Hera, which is an old school chorus. It was instant,
nice,
like grunge, and no, it was pretty awesome. I see people on the Poo Ninja, hey guy, he's surprised you can have clean tone with that thing, but that thing actually, that amp, like if you don't put the boost or anything, it's a very, very good clean platform. It's an incredibly good. It's not instant destroy. Like it's not a 5150 where you have crunch or high gain pretty much, and you have the clean at like 2 degrees angle on the clean channel. With this one, you have a range that is huge.
Absolutely. This is the power stage working because it has so much headroom, it doesn't compress. Wattage doesn't mean volume per se. It means cleanness. It means powerful. And in terms, not distorting or handling big signals.
That's I think the plugin recreates that well. And of course, you don't have the sensation of volume, but unless you play extremely loud at home or like in the studio, we can have a lot of fun. Like our speakers here are like maybe not as loud as the 4x12 with 100 watts, but we're not far off. And we also have PA speakers here if we really need volume. And it was absolutely glorious. And the last, is there anything else specific you want to say about the Titan before I move to the cabinet?
Yeah, it's a phenomenal amp, and I'm very happy to can share it with you since it's a fully hand-wired amp. It's more on the prestige price range, and I'm happy that many players can now experience it.
Oh, and me as well. And let's say like that. So I've played that amp. I've had it here for many weeks. It's an expensive amp. I think it's around 4,000 euros, something like that.
3.6, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's the right price. I mean, I'm not one for spending stupid amount of money on gear, but when you have that amp like sitting next to you, it's a bit like the diesel stuff or some like very high end amps. You understand instantly what you're paying for it. And I didn't even open it, so just looking at it, like everything is absolutely premium. So congrats on that, Chris. It's
thank you.
I mean, the price absolutely makes sense, and the sound is extremely unique. Definitely something like for an amp collector, and if you are into stuff that are a little bit like not the basic run of the mill amps that everybody has, I would highly recommend having one of those. And the Dawn IR. So let's look at the cabinet we have in here. So we did a capture of one cabinet, but it's a very special one. And actually, this one I don't know.
And I sent over some IRs that I find ideal as a reference, and you two notes guys did me the favor and created a cabinet that is basically the ideal Jupiter cabinet for the Titan.
Exactly. So for this cabinet, we actually took a different approach than what we do usually with DNIRs. We actually created a sound from the ground up by mixing up stuff, finding what exactly Chris wanted to hear. So it was a more creative process, because I don't think you're building any cabinets, Chris, right?
No, this part I'm skipping.
Okay.
It's
Yeah. I mean,
much.
I just say a word about that, because for people who don't understand why some builders are not making cabinets are, well, first of all, you need a lot of room to make cabinets.
Yeah.
It's expensive to build. It's stupidly expensive to ship. And most of the
Yeah.
time, as a small company, since you're not shipping containers of stuff,
Yeah.
most small company I know, and I could include Rev or many boutique builders who are not that small, it's a pain in the butt, and they want to skip that because it's very hard to make money selling cabinets. Very hard. So I could totally understand that.
It looks cool to offer them, shipping them or shipping them back or whatever. Or stacking them. I don't know where. I don't have to play.
Yeah. No, I get it. So this one, and you guys will get to try this cabinet. This one is a pure creation. So let us know what you think about that. I think it's again the goal here, and I think the communication between Chris and the team went well. The goal was to try and create what Chris had in his mind, and to just design a virtual cabinet based on a description rather than capturing something that exists. So it's a different approach. Yes, Chris, what do you think about that process?
I told Igor about that, and my favorite speaker, my favorite mic positions, and favorite mics, and the add-ons I like on guitar cabinet recordings. This means V30s, but screaming, so they lose the EQ highs. When they're more saturated, they get more bottom. And then in a bigger resonating cab, like empty, a bigger cabinet makes more resonance in the bass. And when you don't put sidewalls in there or make them stiff, they sound a bit more loose. It could be very good for some kinds of music, like more bigger chords or whatever. They push a lot of air. And that's a certain sound you get from big cabs. This is what we try to create. With the microphone directly ugly into the middle of some speakers, and then adding a lot of deep resonance from the cabinet. I like that.
Yeah, and you know what? Look at my preset. I actually kept one of the mics, and I think it's what did I put in there? Oh, okay. So it's a U87, but I started with a 421, which I usually never use straight in axis. I usually like to filter a little bit the high frequency. On the 421, that can be a little bit aggressive. So I will usually put it out of the center. On this one, I actually liked it, tiny bit of it straight. And then I had the 121 just to take more of the low end and more the let's say, rounding up a little bit, the warming up the sound. Having it a little bit out of the picture, but higher than the 421. And honestly, I spent probably like 30 seconds, but I'm very well used to the DNIR technology. So I usually take very little time to get to like 90% of what I want. So, and then I just adjust little touches with EQ or just moving a little bit. But when I get to 90%, I just need 30 seconds. I see that there's a question. I don't know, Chris, if you see the question, but there's one from, I think it's Sound Studio with a 6. Yes, that's the one. I don't know that amp, so I don't know if you know it.
Do you know about the Heavy Metal Warfare amp from Dean Costello? Yeah, I know. I never played one, and I heard that they are very good. And I love everything he makes. If that is the question.
Well, I mean, the question was more, did it influence you designing the Titan? Is there any...
No, to be honest.
No, but I mean that's a fair question. I think your influence are a little bit more vintage.
And since I never compared them really, I can't say technical stuff like, yeah, this one has more this or that. What I can say is that our Titan was designed on older Marshalls, and then we added a SVT power stage into it because that were the amps that had as a reference laying around while doing that. I had like 5 Plexis and 3 or 4 JCM 800s, 1 Soldano, and 1 high watt 400 and 1 SVT 300, the big one, VR, big, whatever, the silver big amp pack.
Oh, okay,
and
yeah, you have one here.
That was our reference while designing that, and we added some features like the bias probe and whatever. I don't compare stuff. I'm just doing what I like, and then I turn it up till my teeth rattle, and then I'm jiggling like a small boy, and then I'm happy. And then it's done. You know, that's the part of designing stuff.
That's the process. No, but I mean, I think
the process.
People are interested in the history behind the product, and like you said,
sure.
your influence are pretty. I mean, a lot of people have used the JCM 800 or Solano or Basement, or I mean, the history of amp design starts with radios or keyboards, amplifiers or PA amplifiers, and then there was a point in history where the amplifiers got more specialized to an application. So it's not like there was a lot of revolution in the process. It's just evolution. So I don't really trust inventors. Everybody's stealing from someone and just putting his tiny thing into it, like we did with 2 notes, like you do with your stuff, and it's just how it works. That's evolution. Makes sense.
That's a version on how I like it, and
absolutely.
People like my taste.
No, absolutely. The Poo Ninja is mentioning, because so Poo Ninja, you have to know, Chris, he's our usual here. He's always there. Everybody expect him to be here because he's got always relevant stuff to say. So in that case, he said that virtual cabinets are way cheaper to ship, and I have to agree. They are also cheaper to build and cheaper to store and to warehouse and to ship. And they don't look as cool, though. I have to say, I'm using guitar cabinets too as speaker stands for the studio monitors behind me. So we have guitar cabinets. I think Randall sent me a few of those, so that's how we use them. Have some Marshall and some other stuff behind, and they look great, and nothing look as good and as cool as a proper tube amp on a proper 4x12. I believe everybody would agree on that. I absolutely agree on that. I have a whole wall of amps and many others here, and guitars. Of course, that's what looks cool, but not everyone has a lot of room to put that on display, and that's where the plug-in technology actually offers a good solution. Let's move on with the question. Thank you, Chris. I think it was very informative, and I did appreciate the process. I was not involved very much in the whole process. I usually kickstart things, and then I arrive at the end just to say, no, that's not what I want. Not this time. I was very impressed with the result, and I said, yes, that's probably what I want. But mainly, and that's the interesting part, in the Fair Tone initiative, the thing we're promoting, where we want to involve builders in the digital version of their amp, there was no option we would put that virtual pedal amp and cabinet without your approval, Chris. So the whole process can only start if you think you'll be happy, and I believe you got to try the first captures or the first amp model like a long time ago. When was that? Like during beginning of the summer or something?
Yeah, I beat them a lot. And the only thing that was my critique was that it had a bit much gain, like 2 dB less, and then everything is good. And that's it. I beat recordings with drums and everything and listened to my reference system at home, nobody can tell. Nobody can tell. People sometimes say, yeah, the highs are a bit different, but then they get it all wrong because I tricked them. It was like, okay, A is the plugin and B is the amp, but it's the other way around. So nobody can tell. Not even I can tell. If you like blindfold me and be like, okay, this is the Titan, right? And then I was like, yeah, sure, I can definitely hear blah, 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 blah. Even I can.
No, and
it's
that's
very, very, very good.
That's always what we're trying to achieve. I can't say we are. I mean, it takes several tries, and that's something people need to understand. Like in this process, we have to send you stuff. You listen to it. Other people listen to it. We have our own testers here as well in the team or outside the team. So many people actually get to taste the soup, and until everybody seems to be happy with it, the soup is not served. So we need to adjust the ingredient to add more salt. Remove salt. We can remove salt from our soup. It's harder to do in real life, we keep cooking until especially the builder is happy, it's absolutely vital. And we will never put on the market something that doesn't get the approval of the builder the minute he's got his name on it. And Chris, one of my follow-up question is, why did you choose to go with Genome or with Two Notes on that? Because I'm pretty sure you could have any other or many other plugin companies do your stuff. Maybe not as well as we do, but still they could do your stuff. But what made you trust us more than others?
We work with, made people know not, but we work for like 5 years now together, and there is trust, and professionally, I very admire. And also I want to work with my friends and people that I know. And who knows, so the Captor X is the coolest thing the guitar community had in the last 10 years, let's be honest. It changed everything. The whole market changed after that release of the Torpedo, like 8 years ago.
Or even more than that.
Whatever. And that's the IR recording procedure is the best thing in the last 10 years for even I record with like vinyl collection, and everything has to be or at least analog. Even I record with IRs because it's super easy, and Two Notes is always the best, easiest, simplest, and best sounding system of all. And also we're friends, so
it's important. And to know what there's the business side of things, and of course there's the friendship, and I think all of that, when they combine, it's great. I should mention that Chris asked us to release those components for free.
I don't get money out of that.
He's not getting paid. So again, under the third tone, we just follow what the builder is asking for. So what was your goal, Chris? Are you hoping that more people will get to experience the stuff? Because it's very exclusive, right? I mean, how many amps do you build a year? Like the Titan?
A year? Maybe 20.
So we can say it's a very exclusive amp. Very few people will actually have that existential experience.
I mean, we can change that when now people of your community base order hundreds of amps each month, then I know. But Jupiter has a very, very raw sound, and I'm now happy that many people can experience that as well without spending 3,600 euros right away, which is, of course, for someone that records at home and student age with their guitar into their interface, not possible, Or at least they can try stuff out before they buy it. And also it's very difficult to have like fuzzy or fuzz pedals or like all those Doom and Stoner amps in digital. are more complicated, and I would say we both know what we do in that category. You in the digital realm, and I in the fuzzy stuff. So, best connection ever.
Yeah.
And yeah.
No, I think that's a great point. I do believe some people will try your amp and may want the real deal.
Of course.
We don't have another, like we have many amps right now in the library. I don't even know how many, maybe 20 something, and I have a whole wall of them, like probably 28 right on my left, and even more in the office. I have nothing that sounds like it. It's absolutely a unique amp and a unique take on guitar amplification. Do you know some people? I'd like to try it with bass. Would that make sense?
Yeah, sure. It's a high gain bass amp, basically. That's where the low cuts are for, so we can make it work on guitar.
Yeah.
Or normal guitar, and when you want like big heavy wall of sound, just remove the cuts, and then you have all in.
Yeah, that's the fat switch, right? On the
the fat is the low cut. When you play a bit faster, then you need some kind of low cut because basses need a bit more time to involve out of the speaker, and if you cut them, you can play faster.
Yes, I actually spend a bit of time with that, especially when you put a pedal in the front of the Titan in Genome. Depending how you set up the filters, or if you put a treble booster or something, you may want to adjust the fat just to either have more low end, like the pedal before will probably filter out the low end, and you may want to put it a little bit back in the amp. I mean, it's very fun to play. It's very interactive, and you'll find your right setup. Actually, the amp is a lot more versatile than what I thought initially. Because when I tried it, when we've met last year, when I tried it at Summit, since there were all those pedals and everything, I was having fun with them. It was mainly all high gain fuzz and stuff like that. But actually in the plugin, since we start from scratch without anything around it, and I started from clean, I was like, oh, that's actually a lot more stuff I can do with that. It's not a one-trick pony.
No, absolutely not. It's all about dynamics, and we set the top very high with the very extreme sounds. But till then, you have a lot of range to experiment. We start at bottom, like dead clean, to extreme. And yeah, that is very important for me. So you have all the note separation. There are people tuning to G or F with a fuzz pedal. They want that kind of stuff.
That's awesome. What do you mean? I mean, I'm just curious at this point, but what's your background like behind all those ideas, and you explain your approach to designing amps musically? Who do you think will love that amp? What kind of music do they play, and who are those people? Like, I'll give you an example. I sent the plugin to a couple of friends. I'm not sure they are on the channel today. It's a bit early for the French. Maybe they're working, but they play in one of the biggest doom metal, like extreme doom metal band, and they are very much into doom stuff. And when I told them we were working with you, they were like, yeah, send us the plugin now. And they spent up 4 or 5 days designing I don't know how many presets, and some of them will be delivered with that update. So for doom players, the Warlow plus the amp makes absolute sense. What's your take on that? What's your, let's say, musical universe?
My music, what I listen to? Yeah, I like experimental stuff that doesn't get annoying. I like very emotional music. I like melody. I like big, heavy guitars. It has to be guitars, loud guitars, and the Muppets animal on the drums, like destroying drums, and with a lot of feeling. And that is something that you find in many categories, trying to avoid one certain thing. But I'm open for music as long as it touches my heart. I know it's very generic to answer like that, but I mean, I learned in young age to not focus on just one thing, and always try to be open and learn new stuff, because there's so much good music besides my view things.
No, but I mean, of course, I
like
agree
loud
with you.
guitars in general.
Yeah, no, I mean, I listen to a whole lot of shit, but there are some things I prefer. And when I see your universe, of course, we're definitely in some of the high gain side of things, or at
Yeah.
least, let's say, the heavy side of things. Not necessarily very high gain, because there is a whole range of crunch and
Yeah.
like edge of breakup stuff. I had a lot of fun, like I said, recreating some kind of the Smashing Pumpkins clean tones with effects and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's there. Like, it didn't take me
Yeah.
long. I did not
Absolutely.
compare it to a recording, but
Yeah.
I felt like I was playing that, and with a guitar that actually was not the right one, but I was still in that ballpark. So for the, I think it's inspiring to know, for people to know where your head's at when you're designing products, because you're influenced, and when you take some decisions regarding a switch, or do you offer a parameter as an option, it's usually because you have an idea behind it, or a sound you're trying to get. Like when you have that fat cut switch, or when you have I don't know, there is a low on the tone stack, you on the low end you have a frequency switch as well. So what's that for?
That's for when you want to feel all your feelings again. No, it's adding insanely amount of bass, and when you pull that, it's just meat. It's just like when the wave hits, it's just and yeah, it's basically that. I know it's stupid to explain that, but it's right on. It's bass pure.
Well, that's, I think, what one of the cool thing about having that in the plugin is that a lot of people will get to listen to that and experience it and feel it, because it's hard to put in words, right? It's extremely hard to put in words. I don't know how to put in words. Like, I remember years ago at Music Messe, we actually rented a very powerful PA to present the very first Torpedo. So it was probably 16 or 17 years ago. Okay, you were very young, Chris, at the time. I was younger, and I had the guitarist actually. So we had two sub bass speakers and two very powerful PA speakers, and I had the guitarist play on top, like just standing up on the sub bass, 1 feet on each, and playing guitars. And I can tell you, like, the physical sensation, because the word in the street at the time was like, yeah, IRs, that's bullshit. There's no sensation, no feeling, no whatever. And I put them in the situation where they had a decent PA. And I can tell you that there is no 4x12 in the world that will get you that insane feeling, because it was physical. All the low end would go through your bones, and you still had a lot of power. I remember we had the Peterson strobe tuners.
Yeah.
They sent us the sound poly 3 times that year.
Nice.
They were just in front of us. I'm very sorry, guys. I love you guys. I love what you do. But they sent us the sample. They were right. They had to, but 3 times. I would threaten that my booth would close. So we had to lower the level. But the way you listen to things, and just to say a little bit of that, I say that often. But if you're listening to Chris's amp with the shittiest headphones, or with very, very tiny speaker or laptop speakers, there is absolutely no way you will get the full experience. And that's the thing. That's why we have big speakers behind us, PA, and like, let's say, mid-size studio or midfield studio monitors, which would be too powerful for most home systems. Because the minute you listen to pretty much any plugin, and Genome especially, with decent speakers or decent headphones, that's where you understand what we're trying to do. So when we develop stuff, we want to try them on a proper system.
Also want to add that I do a very guitar feedback, and guitar feedback is a very important thing in certain music styles, and for me it's half of what I do in my band. so it was very important to me that the amp reacts to distortion and volume in the whole chain, and most digital amps try to avoid feedback, or they don't do the cool harmonies, or and the Titan does that the same way that the original amp does, and that was very, very, very important.
It's I totally believe that, especially with those the minute you have a lot of power like that, you need to have a proper system. I'm looking at the comment. There was a few questions. So someone thought that you weren't specific enough about your musical influences. They want band names. Okay.
Yeah, I
Three
want
band
band
names.
names.
Okay, three band names.
Nothing weird, Smashing Pumpkins, and some lower one, Local Age.
Okay, I hope you are happy, guys, with that. That's your.
You can send me a message on Instagram. I will tell you. I send you a whole list and playlist and whatever. But I don't nail me on 2 or 3 bands. I'm almost 30. I have a lot of taste, and I don't eat just pizza.
Of course, but you know what? There's that thing, and I'm 48, okay, and when I think about what influenced me as a musician, I still refer to my teenage years, because I think that's when between, and it's been proven by science, when you're between 13 and at best 18 years old, that's usually where you build your like core appeal to music, and that's
loud
where,
rock.
and the stuff that will stick with you your whole life. So for me, it's like cold wave to early grunge to death metal, like because I was a teenager between 90, 91, and 95, and those years were the end of heavy metal, the definitive end of glam metal. So I did not listen to that. Like I like it now, but was not my thing at the time. Actually, we were laughing at those guys. It was the battle between grunge and metal, and the bands in between trying to pretend they were one or the other. That was cute. I was not a big fan of new metal, but I still listened to it. And
There's some good bands.
Oh, absolutely. Look, I've worked with a lot of bands in nearly 20 years now, and that actually forced me to go beyond my own self-made barriers, like the stuff I didn't want to listen to, and then I got to experience live some of those new metal bands that I thought were shit, and when I saw them live, I was like, oh, I understand now. And yes, kids, go see live music. It's different. It's a different world. And
I saw.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you.
No. Go ahead. What do you see?
I have an older sister that is 7 years older, basically in your range, and a huge Nirvana fan, huge Soundgarden fan. And as I annoyed my bigger sister with like kids music, like Biene Maya and Benjamin Blümchen, like kids music, she was like, "Hey, do you want to listen to like real music maybe someday?" And she was like a pile of CDs, and it was like done. Later on in the TV, I saw a live concert of Nirvana Live and Loud, where it almost starts with like throwing guitars, and I was like, cool. And I'm done. That was my whole. Now still loving that.
No, and well, I mean the usually the I mean grunge and all those bands. If you look at when they became successful, usually those guys were very young, like they were early 20s.
Early 20s.
And the people listening to them were even younger very often. And I was 14 when Nevermind was released, or 15. So I mean, no, 14. So the I was the right age to jump into it. So probably 5 years younger, you don't listen to it. 5 years older, you say, yeah, no, I keep listening to whatever. And yeah, those years are really what's important to you, and that's why. Like again, because you mentioned Smashing Pumpkins, I don't listen to a lot of that band, but well, first of all, listen. They are touring, I guess, still with Captor X and Revan. Okay. and I'm not too good with the recent stuff, but of course, Melancholy and all the first albums I've listened to in parties, because even if you didn't like it, you had to. There was no choice. Everybody was playing it. It was awesome, and I can probably, even if I don't feel like I listen to it, I think I can play pretty much all of the songs of Melancholy, and just because I had to listen to it so much, and it was brilliant. It was awesome.
Melancholy is whole channel 2. It's JCM 800 with KT88. That is basically where the idea of the Titan started. And the first albums were more like JCM 800 boosted with an ADA preamp. Okay, now you hit the nerd button. How much time do we got now? And the first channel is more a cleanish thing when you want to have more like an op amp. So a Smashing Pumpkins fan is definitely into the Titan and the Warlow. And yeah.
That's extremely interesting. I'm looking at some messages. No, I was not the kid. I was 14 when Nevermind was released. I was slightly bigger than the kid on the cover. Is significantly younger than I am. Probably more of Chris's age. And
yeah, it was like, when was it?
92. I think 92, 91, 92. I guess.
Yeah, I was 5
don't hold that against
at
me.
that age.
But it was those years, and the Pantera peak years, though. No, absolutely. So when you were cool, you were listening to the first Machine Head, Pantera, Far Beyond Dreaming, of course, Biohazard, all that stuff. Biohazard was my excursion to like rap, new kind of fusion metal. There wasn't a real word for that at the time, and then many other stuff. Love industrial music, and they again the to me it was very formative to even not how I design gear, because the Torpedo range of product is a more open world where we want people who play jazz, blues, metal, grunge, worship music to find something they like in it. So it's a all-in-one.
Give it a try. Yeah,
it's a different approach. I do though respect a lot people like you, Chris, who go with one strong position, one strong direction that's easy to understand, and not trying to please everyone. Even if, like I said, the amp is versatile, but it's still, that amp has a presence in itself, and so I doubt a lot of country players will run to buy that amp, even if I'm pretty sure, like a short tap delay and the proper guitar, proper Telecaster played by the right guy with the slide, there is no question you can play country music with it.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's free and it's already there when it's released. So at least give it a try. Worst you can have is like a good half hour. So
yeah, well, I'm sure people won't be disappointed. And that was the question. So I mentioned it earlier, but we say it again. So we don't have a release date yet. We are still finishing up things. We need to do a little bit of last minute polish on the plugin. We hope you guys will see your licenses will be refreshed in the next days, which means it's coming. So it's not in 2 months, it's not in 4 weeks, it's before. I just can't give you a date just yet, but it's in days or weeks, but not many weeks. So you'll get to play with it.
I want to join at a question that I saw that I found funny.
Yeah.
Will there be a vegan option of the Titan? Yes, because it was very important for me that we don't use leather in the Tolex and the handles. They are vegan. The Titan is vegan.
It's a vegan plugin.
Question.
Oh, there's
and also the plugin is vegan as well. Yeah.
I mean, you can't go more vegan than that. But Ross, if you can put back my screen, the genome screen, please. We added a tiny sticker here with your name on it, Chris. So do you know why?
Yeah, it's my that's my amp, basically my amp with a little scratch on the front, and that's basically the Titan as a serial number 000. It doesn't mean that it now sounds different with other models, whatever. It's just I have many amps with me when we play live, and one is always mine because, and then in the packing or when someone else carries the amp, it has my label on it. That, and for a little detail, Igor put the sticker on the front of the amp.
Awesome. So, and that's something we try to do with the genome. And when we do a capture, whether it's an amp or a cabinet, we try to capture something that means something to the builder. So in that case, and I was very grateful to you, Chris, to loan us your own amp. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there are some stuff here I wouldn't ship. Not talking about my amp collection, I don't care. But the torpedo stuff, there are some like the number 0 of some of our stuff that are just in a cupboard somewhere. But people will get to play not just a Titan, it's your Titan, it's your own Titan.
Yeah.
And you're right, it's not about the sound because it's the other ones are supposed to sound the same, but it's just a little bit of backstory, which I think is cool. And that's the beauty of being able to do replicas like that, is that it's not a physical copy of your amp. It's actually the closest we could get with digitals with digital to your own amp. So
right.
that's great. What? Sorry, I can't read the comments on screen. Thank you so much. Oh, Thomas is here. So it's a German party now. Chris, do you know Thomas?
Yeah, from our Instagram. Hey.
So Thomas is the guy behind many of our DynIRs, especially our anechoic chamber DynIR, and I talk about that every time he's here. But it's they are extremely cool and very, very unique. So no room reflection because they are captured in an anechoic chamber. So let's see. Do we still have a bit of time? Not really, but let's see if I have a cool question for you, Chris. Okay, let me go through. I'm not usually the one asking question. I get carried away with all the stuff we can talk about. So there are questions about the industry in there, and I think we can wrap up on the live stream with that. So we have a series of questions about how do you see the industry, Chris? Where do you see it going? The first question is, what would be a cool trend within the pedal or guitar gear? So amps, guitar, FX, whatever. Is there something you noted is interesting?
Yeah, and it's very important. People don't take sides anymore. There are positive things on digital and on analog, and now people are more trying both things out at the same time, and I like that very, very much because it's super tired of this digital analog thing. I use super heavy amps, but I always record digital for years. And people now get that. They use a JCM 800, but with a floorboard or pedals into their computer. And there's not this hard front anymore. And that is very cool because people are focusing now more on how to get a cool sound and record something good. And that makes me happy because it's more about being creativity and the output instead of fighting people that we also love because we share the same hobbies. So
you know what? I think I can make a comparison with the automotive market. I always do that because I think it's a very interesting market. Not because there are cars, but because it's well structured, extremely mature. Not a lot of innovation, except there is a big one. And I'm not a race driver, but there is a movement nowadays where we're moving towards electric cars. And there are the people who are really about the performance, how fast they can go around a track. And they say EV cars are awesome because they are extremely quick We can break every record. We can put 10,000 horsepower in a car, providing the tires will survive. And it's absolutely awesome. And then there are the more romantic part of that market, which are people who say, and I'm a little bit like that. When I enter a sports car, I want to smell gasoline. I want to hear the sound of the exhaust. I want to feel
radio.
like I want to feel like the car is trying to kill me. And while everything is very controlled, very polished in a modern car, especially the EV cars, and I think both approaches are absolutely valid. Like I love surrounding myself with wood and leather or vegan leather, and well, I mean, there's absolutely no leather on any amp here anyway, and I because I'm a romantic, if I can say that, I like having that product, that thing that has the presence in the room. With music, weirdly, I don't care too much about the vinyl stuff. I do have vinyl. I do have a record player, but I'm totally fine with streaming. I mean, people may disagree with me, but I'm not fine with the business model. But I'm fine with the listening experience. That's what I'm talking about, like the user experience. And I don't care too much about the album cover or whatever. But that's me, right? And with guitar, amps, and digital and analog, I think that's a bit of the same stuff. You may like. I don't use pedals with my amps. Like when I used to play with my band or when I used to record, I always tried to avoid having pedals unless they were vital to the guitarist. Like it's a very specific effect and you need that pedal because no amp can do it. But more like if your amp doesn't have enough gain, find another amp. I mean, if that's the issue, there is probably another amp on the market that will provide that. So I spend a lot of time trying to find the right amp for me. I used to play Angle. I played many brands. And so with pedals now, people chaining pedals, all those complicated, and we have, I don't know, maybe 100 pedals or more around me. I do appreciate they collect them a little bit like Pokemons, and they trade them, and it's cute. But I'm not a pedal guy. I love to play with them like as a toy, and that's the cool thing about Genome, because I don't have to bend over to plug stuff or find a 9-volt battery because my power supply has exhausted all its outputs. But with pedals, it's actually a little bit newer to me. I haven't played them a lot. I'm using that as a segue just to see, ask you about that. What would be your your favorite pedal? I mean, you talked about your influence for the Warlow, which was the Rat and the Fuzz. Sorry, the Fuzz Face. Was it the Fuzz Face? No, the Big Muff.
Yeah, Op and Big Muff. And that's basically my favorite pads, the Op and Big Muff and the Rat, or Distortion, yeah. And both in a medium gritty amp, very loud. Best sound ever.
Yeah, and you know what? That's something that's hard to do with just one amp that would do that. It's easier to get with a solid state pedal and an amp. But since I wasn't playing that kind of music, I absolutely didn't see the need for having a distortion or overdrive pedal in front of the amp. And but that's a good thing about the internet. I got to learn stuff and to work with people who actually use that. So okay, I have a few other questions, and I will try to wrap that up. Let's see, Chris, is there one of those questions you found better, or am I alone trying to find one now?
Feel free.
Let's see. So we talked about
Okay. What's the secret sauce trick for making your pedals sing in a live performance? Volume and gaffer tape. I explain. Just carry some guff with you and tape the best positions on the floor. Then try to bend to the audience and try to bend back to the amp. And when you then play a higher chord and it switches to the upper octave harmonic, then you mark it on the floor. That's how you make a live sound good without the tone guy. No, he's already like, oh.
No, you're totally right. I mean, well, there are some guitarists, especially the ones who are not very much educated about stage. Like nobody explained to them what they should have. Like they don't have
Oh,
DIs, they don't have like a lot of tiny tools that you need to have, especially when you don't have a full guitar tech team behind you, which is most people.
yeah. Yeah.
And fixing stuff for you. You need to have a few of those tricks. I had a question that's a little bit different from what I have in my list, but by having your products into Geno, and that's something I'm curious about, and I don't know if you're conscious of that, but we will get some feedback from people, and we may get people saying, well, that amp is great, but what about we do this instead of that? Have you thought about it? Like getting, because I'm pretty sure you uh, get feedback from users. How do you process those in your product design approach?
Oh,
Do you actually take those into consideration, or do you say, yeah, no, that's my thing, and you like it or not?
difficult question. Some
There's
feedback
no
is,
bad answer. There's no bad answer.
yeah, some feedback is meaningless. Some feedback is very important. Like feedback that is like, okay, it would be easier for us if we have it this way. And when I roll this knob, and then it's, oh yeah, I never thought about doing that this way. You are right. Without any discussion, changed. And there's feedback like, okay, the amp is total cool, but why isn't there a 50-watt version? Yeah, because it wouldn't work that way. And I get that answer a lot. Oh, nobody needs that. Yeah, right. Nobody needs a Land Rover in the city as well. But it's cool. Nobody needs a loud motorcycle, but it's cool. That's it.
Well, I can find you people who will try to convince you they need a loud motorcycle and they need a Land Rover.
Yeah, they needed to be free, or they needed to feel good, or whatever. Yeah, of course.
Oh no, they have like very good arguments. We talk about that another day. I don't have a Land Rover, but I don't have a loud, very very loud motorcycle.
But you get what I mean. It's just
absolutely.
All we need is food and sleep and something to do. But what we want in life is something different. And sometimes you just need unmutes and a fuzz pedal with a full stack. And I'm that guy.
I think I spend quite a bit of time, me, Ross, and the marketing team, and actually pretty much everyone here, monitoring what people say about the products and why they. And of course, a lot of the feedback we can't really use because either it's extremely specific, so that's kind of feedback I don't know what to do with. Like, oh, I'm plugging this into this and that, and my pedal board, which is in another room, and then I have a cabinet in a separate building. But if the impedance of this was that, and there's a point where we're like, guy, I'm sorry, but you obviously need to have a builder create something for you. I just can't. I mean, your user case cannot fit. It's a 0.001% of the customers. I'm not changing the specs just for you. So we always try to be nice about that. And sometimes even that guy has one in that mess. There is one thing that could be a good idea for the rest of the users, but it's
in general, you'll always have to listen to all customers because they're your customers.
yeah, and no, well, I mean, they pay our bills, so of course they deserve that respect, definitely. But I think it's very. I mean, most of the firmware update we do on a digital product, it's customer based, and we try to stay close to that. Sometimes they don't understand because we don't release what they ask for, but we release something that somebody asked for, and we try to find like a trend within the request. But I think it's a good thing about having all our social networks and all that way for them to have access to us and for us to have access to their request. I think it's a gold mine of ideas. Of course, a lot of them are not gold, but some of them are interesting, and I myself appreciate a lot getting information, feedback, recommendation. Sometimes I have to explain my choices when I design a product. Oh, but this makes no sense. Why did you do it like that? Well, there's usually a reason. that may not work in your system, but there's one.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the laws of physics that don't allow us to do what we want to do. Sometimes just a marketing decision or a price decision, or there are many parameters that from a distance don't make sense, but for us they all do. And also happy accidents or bad accidents. I want to close that part by saying, please, guys, tell us what you think about those new components when you have them. Keep telling us what you want more in Genome. We don't deliver instantly what you ask for, but all of that is logged. I guarantee you all of it is logged with a priority in a very long list of priorities. So if you have a very smart idea, you think that's the best and you'd like to see TuneUps do it, well, I'm always available to talk very smart ideas. And if there is, and you know what? And if your idea is so smart, I will probably tell you to start your own company and make money with it. I'm not stealing it. Is there to finish and a little bit look at the future? And Ross, I think it's time. Yes, it's time. Is there any technologies you're looking at right now, whether in the analog domain? I'm not so sure. There are a lot of new stuff, or digital, or stuff you're looking at in our industry, or maybe somewhere else. New emerging technology that you think would be interesting in applying into your own products? Or, I mean, of course, you're just doing a plugin, so there's that. But it's more than emerging, like all that AI capture stuff. That's what we used for your amp and pedals. But any other stuff you could think of that you think are worth taking a look? Or are you very much analog oriented?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm very happy to convince digital players to analog, and the other way around, because a lot of very close-minded tube people missing a lot of good sounds with digital. And,
you know what? I don't think you can build a great sound with I'm saying it in German, digital. I don't. Digital. I don't think you can build a very good sound with plugins if you don't have experience with the analog amps. I think my experience with recording real amps, real cabinets, and pedals, I think I'm using that when I'm using a plugin. So the problem happens when the plugin works widely differently from the real stuff. It's a challenge for me. But with Genome, we try to stay close to the reality. So when I put blocks together, I find my sensations. I find what I'm searching for in the analog domain. So
lost a few hours as well.
Oh yeah, and you know what? I think it's good to remember what's the source of the stuff. If you only drink strawberry syrup, there is no way you remember how a real strawberry tastes, because those are extremely different. Maybe in the plugin world, we are getting a little bit closer to the real stuff.
Good, yeah.
But the experience of plugging it, to letting the tubes warm, not finding your speaker cable, all of that is part of the creative process.
Smell. The burning dust on the tube smell. Oh.
The smell of the glue heating up. Well, I've visited factories that were actually gluing Tolex on cabinets, and you want to have a mask.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Ross is back. Ross is back.
Did someone mention glue? No, I thought that was a great look at what we've got in store, guys, and thank you so much to Chris. And actually, thank you so much to our chat room today that's been going a bit ballistic. Apparently, you need to develop a 750 watt Titan.
On it. Thanks, Stereo.
Great, guys. So I thought I'd do a little wrap up. If you want to learn more about JPTR FX, There's the Jupiter FX website there. Go and check it out. It's awesome. If you want to check out Jupiter FX on Instagram, it's at Jupiter_FX. If you want to check out Jupiter FX on Facebook, it's at Jupiter FX. If you haven't tried Genome yet, where have you been hiding? Go and check it out at genome.2notes.com. If you ever need any support, myself and Dylan and Guillaume are on the support desk. Come to support.2notes.com and we'll help you out.
Oh, I'm not going there. No. People are mean in there. They always complain about stuff. They always break my products. I don't want to talk to them.
They always leave happy. If you'd like to join the Genome,
not because of me, because I don't go there.
If you want to join our Genome community, we're on Facebook. It's always growing. Come and say hello. We're on there all the time. Or if you're just a 2Notes user and you want to chat all things tone, come and check us out at 2Notes Audio Community. Thanks so much, everyone. I think that was a great stream, and we can't wait to hear what you all think of the new Jupiter FX components in Genome.
Coming soon. Very soon. Almost there.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.